Hey people, what's good? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by NY Varsity Sports, Beach Volleyball National Events, and Endless Summer Beach Volleyball. I got Theo Brunner in the house. We are rolling. Starts now. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear. Cool. Hey, here we are. Listen, you ask and you shall receive, because I got to give the people what they want. Theo Brunner! What's good, man? Jim McNamee says Theo. So before we got on the air, we were talking about the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, and it was also on my Sports Debate Tuesday topic. How much does the new format the question was, did the new format save the NBA All-Star game?
It might have. I mean, that was awesome. Like the All-Star game, it's just terrible to watch. Like even the dunk contest, everything, like, I don't know. There'll be some good highlights, but my wife's so into the NBA now that I actually sit down and watch everything, and I was like, oh no, the All-Star game's going to be terrible.
Yes.
But yeah, the new format was awesome. I mean, every quarter mattered. So even though the quarters weren't that close, they were still trying. And then we good?
Yeah.
And then the fourth quarter especially was just awesome. Like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, everyone was trying their butts off. It was like the most high level game of pickup basketball, like, of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan. I mean, because they just literally don't care till the last 3 minutes normally.
It got.
And I don't blame them.
Sorry, pressure court. There it is.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, they don't want to get injured. There's not a whole lot on the line. Like, they're just kind of partying that weekend. But, I was a big fan.
Yeah, for me,
almost to the point I was like, man, if every single game was like this, it would almost be too fun to watch. So it would start to lose.
At least the first three quarters, they had something to play for, like the winner. Charity. There were charity implications. Sorry, I'm gonna turn the game down. I'll talk. I multitask.
Okay.
My God, if I did not have her, Cameron, where you at, cameraman? This is Miranda Gagne. This is my hostess with the mostest. There she is. So for me, every year you watch these guys smile at each other while they're, the guy playing defense is like wowed by the person's dunk, and they're anything but. They're 2 seconds shot from like fist bumping and bro hugging. After you just got dunked on, it looked like a New York Knicks game, for Christ's sakes.
Everybody except maybe Russell Westbrook is like that, and now Giannis, which I very much appreciate. So go ahead.
Man, perfect. So for me, I got tired of watching games like that, and this All-Star game in the beginning, it kind of looked like more of the same, and you're like, get ready.
Yep.
I'd rather watch ice melt, but. Then something happened. Giannis blocked a shot from LeBron, a jump shot, and LeBron's just like, "Really? You're not gonna give me the over jump? Fine, I'm gonna pick your pocket on the ensuing series." And then it got all personal. And then the refs, who thought they had the day off,
calling charges. Kyle Lowry just trying to take like 10 charges in the last 5 minutes. That was awesome.
Then you see like 3 players coming at the ref is like, whoa! I thought I had the fucking day off here. So there goes Dougie Fresh. Hey buddy, hope all is well. Doug Namashento. We're definitely going to answer some of these. A whole bunch of questions are popping up now, but I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit. Because moving the volleyball needle, I like the scoring freeze, and I think that's a lot of people didn't like it in the beginning.
I hate it.
And
I used to love it.
No, good.
I freaking hate it now because of Hawaii.
Ricardo hates it. Let me tell you something. Ricardo hates it. No, Hawaii,
actually, you
were right there, right?
No, we had 2015 up 1-0 after coming through the freaking qualifier. And like the freeze had been so good to me up until that point. I even me and John had won Hermosa down, I think 14-11 in the third, and I was like, man, I love the freeze because it's good. Like I can score points in bunches, so I feel like it was perfect for me. And then that 2015 nightmare scenario took what would have been like the greatest tournament, most memorable tournament ever, made it into like a nightmare. Yeah. But I think it's I like the rule and I appreciate what it does.
Yeah.
And I don't hate anything more in the sport than people winning like a hard-fought match. You see it all the time on the FIVB. Like some crazy match going the distance, and then someone gets a triple ace and it's over. And I think it's like blasphemy to the sport, and it should be eliminated somehow. And this freeze eliminates it in its own way. So I like it for that.
Yeah, how electric was the atmosphere there? Since I brought it up, and we already dived in, right? We're neck deep on that. How was the atmosphere? Because I didn't make the trip.
Yeah.
And I only got a chance to see a couple of matches in highlighting the finals. It just seemed like
it was good. Yeah. I mean, obviously it was kind of Taylor's home. You know, he's from Hawaii, so they had a lot of fans. But I think we actually had more support. First of all, no one ever cheers for me and John when we play together. Like, I'm pretty like low key. No one really. I'm not real charismatic on the court. And John, like, for some reason, people just don't like. Other than appreciating how good he is, if you're like a volleyball guy, he's just kind of like got that like attitude. Kind of hangs his head a lot.
Yeah.
So people tend to root against him. So me and John, it's like nobody cheers for us. But that tournament, I think just the fact that we were so dead. Like in warm-ups, we could barely jump. Like we're both like looking at the ground, our heads spinning, and we're trying to play. So it was a good kind of everyone cheering for everything. And even though it was a super painful match, I think once it got to the third set and like me and John didn't just fold after giving up that big lead, it ended up being like a great match to watch. And it's one that like I'm almost ready to go back and watch it and appreciate. It was a really good match. So
I share your sentiment. Theo Brunner, I share your sentiment. Again, I didn't make the trip. I was coaching a bunch of teams, and some of the guys picked me up because they knew I was going to travel with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm all in, I'm all in. You know, Earl Schultz, Big Pearl.
He's good, by the way.
Jake Arrieta. Huh?
He's good, Earl.
Yeah.
We played him in Chicago qualifier.
Yeah. I was very...
like,
you're like, okay. I'm like, damn, too bad one of us ain't going to make it, you know? Yeah, but for Earl, I picked him up for Hermosa Beach and some of Manhattan Beach, and that was the first time they made the draw. So it was big for him after 7 tries. Jake Arrudia, young upstart, resident knucklehead. I said it. So for me, they knew I was going to come to New York. Jeff, I worked with Jeff Samuels as well, Jeff, and I was Rafu's analytics coach, not for Ed, but for Rafu.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to make that trip, but because of the way you guys played, so you couldn't play anymore. The fans took the journey with you. Like you said, it wasn't the team that everyone particularly cheers for, but they see your ups and downs. You wear your heart on your sleeve sometimes. Hayden stays a little bit introverted.
Yeah.
But through just keeping it about playing, keeping it about competing, as people started caring, they became emotionally invested.
Yeah.
I know some people were sad when you didn't. I was sad when you didn't win.
Yeah, no, I think much more so than normally when we lost. I think people just felt like I've never given that much in a tournament. I don't believe John's ever given that much in a tournament. Before the final, he was literally like, I thought he was going to have to go to the hospital. He was passed out on the trainer's table. Yeah. They were poking him. I was like, should we check on John? Like, he seems kind of out of it. And they're poking him, and he's like, what? Like, I mean, he's 46, I think, and playing that much volleyball. And man, I have so many props to John for sticking with me after I only had 2 tournaments out of the 4 for points. Yeah. We got a 7-2.
Which tournament did you have to qualify for again? I forgot. You came in
Chicago and Hawaii. Wow. So playing Chicago, I still just had 2 tournaments after that. I was just replacing. I was bringing him down. I totally would have understood if he was like, hey man, I'm going to, play with someone else, get in the main draw. I would have been like, cool. Like, but he stuck it out.
It's about them points.
And we made the final, and I'm really bummed I couldn't get him another win. Yeah. And give him
He seems loyal to people who are putting in the work, though, right? I mean, some people they feel like they got to do what's right for business, right? And I get that, because at the end of the day, this is a business, and some people make their money from the prize, and some people make their money from sponsors and just showing up and being in these semifinals or in these game situations. So, but he seems like a loyal dude, where money's important, but he strikes me as the kind of guy where there's some things that go beyond money. Am I right about that?
I think so. I think he's a good guy. I mean, I think he's known for like scrimping, and Johnny Jamba was his name, making the most out of his $3,000 gift card with Jamba Juice. But I think in the end, we had a pretty good bond. I mean, he stuck with Tri forever too. Yeah. I think that spoke to his character, that he stuck with me. Yeah. Even though we got together late in the season. Yep. But I think we had kind of a bond, and he wasn't willing to throw that away. for a short-term gain. So I appreciate that very much.
I also thought the two of you together, I mean, at the time, with styles making matchups, I thought in the international scene you guys could have made a big dent. Like John is already used to a bunch of those people. There's a winner's mentality, you know, and it's weird. Isn't it weird how styles make matchups? Like Trevor didn't win. Everyone's getting on him about not winning an AVP, but he's won like 2 FIVBs, 2 3-stars with
3 stars.
with John May, which is equivalent to Austin. Or Seattle, right? You got one or two good teams to beat. If you are who you say you are.
I hate that they give the same looking medal for all those tournaments. It annoys me.
I do.
And I got a second and a 3-star last year, and I was like,
okay, yeah.
Hide this one. I'd take my bronze in like a fully loaded tournament.
Like crop out the check.
Yeah.
You crop out the check when you take the picture.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a pro. What's the money? Oh, you gonna do that? You're really gonna do that.
They should just show like the total tournament winnings on the check and just lie to everybody. Be like, oh, that's 75,000.
Oh my God, dude.
Just market it. Yeah.
Shit. So we're gonna. My God, they're just lighting it up. Best blocker, Theo Brunner. Can't wait to watch you again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I have a huge following. East Coast
Troy,
following.
did I see a Troy Field on there?
Yeah.
Troy's just mad I'm not practicing Rocket League right now.
Yes. Will Troy ever make it to champ in Rocket League?
Yes. Troy puts the work. It's this.
What is Rocket League?
It's the stupidest little most fun game ever. It's this PlayStation game. He might play it on Nintendo Switch. It's these cars you drive around. It's like cars soccer, and the cars also rocket up in the air. So it's a super high skill cap. We started playing together. For me, like video games is like a fun little outlet. And I found out he played, and so we bonded. And when my wife was gone in New York visiting my family, we played a ton. So, and now she's about to go to Greece with my daughter to see her family. And then I'm like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's rank up. As soon as she's gone, I'm letting you know,
Nice.
And we're doing it. And he's good. He's very good.
Nice. We need to know. Not stupid. That's Troy Field. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I'm impressed he's listening to this right now. You should be training.
You generate a large amount of fans from the East Coast, from the indoor scene. Me, I've been coaching indoor for 21 years. I've been playing for 30. So one of the people I knew about before I got neck deep into this whole beach thing 5 years ago, where people like you, does that come from just you spending some time on the East Coast? Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, I mean,
when was the last Pottstown Rumble you were in? I don't know. Right?
I mean, I guess it's just a small, it's a small volleyball world out there. So yeah, I love going back to Connecticut. I haven't been able to play any like the beach and grass tournaments in a while, but I really want to again.
What part of Connecticut again?
Ridgefield. So I would play.
Food's so good there, man.
In Connecticut, East Coast, yeah, Italian food is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I miss
New
those.
Yorker.
Yeah, I miss those tournaments. Like the Winstead triples in Connecticut.
Yeah, the threes, right?
The threes.
Yes.
Yeah. I won that a couple times, and man, that was so much fun.
I finished second twice. Hugo, who's always in the tournaments, he used to coach New Haven. He was a setter.
Oh, yeah.
He was a setter for Peru national team. And he's older now, and you might not see him play, but and again I'm giving away my age, but I finished second twice, and it was him. I was like,
yeah.
I sat. It was crazy because I didn't know how to play threes. I was we just used one blocker. We used the one blocker where everyone else was using two. So
we did one. I was playing with 5'10" Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
And then a 6-foot guy who couldn't jump.
No.
So I was like, I just stay in the back.
The cool thing is, like, a lot of these setters who are using their peripherals to see where you are to back set or set outside, you could head fake so many of them. You could take like a jerk step to the right, and when he goes to the back set, he either sets into the block or he botches the set because he sees you moving last minute. That's great.
I wonder how many setters actually are like always looking, because if they are, you use that against them. I mean, it's just like someone who looks a super long time on the beach.
Those are the people you don't even want to like serve tough. Just serve in system. Let them.
Oh yeah, there's certain guys like if I'm blocking well, I'm like, no, get him back in system. Like, stop serving
because he's gonna compete set.
Literally, me and John against Tim Baumgren.
Yeah.
And Kame Shock in the 2018 Manhattan.
Yep.
Like, we kept getting him out of system, and it was just weird stuff from Kame, and Tim was putting him up really well, and we're like, all right, like, he's on the left side, he doesn't like it, just popping the ball. And then, of course, we started playing much better defense. So.
Miranda, can you pull up Manhattan MBO top 10 plays? I just want to, and when you get to Theo, just we'll go from there. But so it was one of those things where, like, for if the other blocker.
I just saw LT. Sorry, ask him how preseason training is going.
They're going hard on you on that one, man.
LT is just terrible.
I saw another one. Where is it? Not the Rocket League. I saw one that says, I'm a player from Florida, but the word is on the streets that Theo don't train hard. Any truth to this? Donnie Bass.
I could see where you would get that from, but let me just tell you this. Like, everybody who's ever played with me had that impression and then doesn't have that impression after. But I think that comes from that idea, like, if I have any kind of ache and pain, in these last couple of years I've been injured like constantly with this calf thing. This is the first year I feel good. I learned, like, I re-injured myself so many times just trying to do the, like, go all out every single point at practice, and I just kept hurting myself. So now, like, if that happens, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just work on weighting, vision, the minimalist approach, which I learned from John Hyden, so you can't criticize it.
Well, he's got longevity, right? You know, I mean, Reed Pretty had a conversation with him about the way they trained for indoor for the national team and how grueling that was. Yeah. And for me, as a former indoor player, I look back and I'm like, these people are fucking crazy. Why? They did that to prepare for a tournament or to prepare for a match. Yeah. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen when the match starts? So he started eating differently. He started his training, is low impact. And I mean, on a general level, the beach, anything you do on the beach is going to be low impact. Yeah. Anything in the weight room, you make sure you monitor that and you mediate that. So how much of you being healthy this year had something to do with the way you train?
Oh, I mean a lot. And a lot of it's just figuring yourself out over the, 6 years now I've been playing. Like, I found kind of what works and what doesn't, the best ways to stay in shape, the best ways to get injured. So I'm kind of starting to figure that out. And really, like, playing with John was eye-opening because he does a lot of things a lot differently than others. And that kind of gave me the confidence to be like, all right, I just need to do what I need to do.
Right.
Make the changes I need to make and not just show up.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. She's pulling up. We got one from 2017, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you looked at that post about training, and to quote Conor McGregor, you said, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
I respect it. He's honest.
No, that's the podcast too. Yeah. I'm a kid from Brooklyn, and I'm also too old for bullshit. So there's gonna be this level of candidness.
Yeah. No, I like it.
And I think I'm easing you in. I ain't trying to. I promise you, I ain't trying to blindside you.
No.
But these are fan questions, and again, you have probably a bigger following than you think you have on the East Coast. So,
LT.
Yeah. Oh my God. Theo is a great role model and has mastered efficient.
I think he mostly
training.
means that. So, LT, start using the Mikasa, please, so I can go to your practices more.
Yes.
He's using the Wilson, and man, you can't go back and forth.
You really can't, because the margin for error, as far as the Wilson's concerned, is more forgivable.
Than when you pass the Mikasa float and then you pass the Wilson, you're like,
not just that, you're
served to technique.
Not just that, you're served to space. And like some of your hitting, if you miss the Mikasa, you miss a little bit. That's the difference between just missing or whatever, where the AVP has a little bit more drop. And guys, we're not talking about the Mikasa King of the Beach, which is a sub for the Spalding, the black and white, because that one, even if you miss, you can't miss. Definitely make my Mikasa. Maybe they should sponsor you. It'd be awesome.
Hey, I'll take it. I've learned to love the ball over time. I used to hate it. I'd be like, man, it's so hard to pass freaking floats.
Yes. So Mikasa, are you listening? This man was down and he's come full circle.
And Wilson's negative for me right now because I was back in the qualifier. They sent all the main draw players balls before Hawaii.
Yeah.
But not me. So Mikasa going up. Wilson going down right now. So.
I don't know why I keep looking this way. I keep looking at the questions. We're basically gonna scroll up, and we're gonna take these one at a time. Are you into baseball at all? No.
Even though, my parents were not big sports fans, so all the stuff I watch now, I kind of took on later, and I think baseball is not something people latch on to later in life in general. So I would say NBA more than anything at the moment.
That's Hermosa Beach, 2018. I'm looking for MBO 2018. This poor girl. Because I did the same thing for Rob Diorora.
Yeah.
And Hermosa Beach, he had 8 blocks in a game.
Okay.
And I had Phil Burrow as my guest, and he's like, "Really?" He's like, all the great videos, all these great digs I got. The video you're gonna, she's laughing right now. He said the video you're gonna pull up was when I get blocked. I got blocked 8 times. Interesting guy. Well traveled. You know, right now he's the only guy to play a volleyball tournament on all 7 continents. He played in Antarctica.
Ooh.
Made that grueling trip. So. Right now,
I had no idea there was a tournament in Antarctica.
Interesting guy. I mean, he's not on the radar, the AVP radar, because of the, if you're not in the draw, you're not in the radar.
Yeah.
But as far as interesting people are concerned, he's definitely. I mean, it was great. We went on. I think we went almost 2 hours. Today is an hour. I know you're on a tight schedule, and I'm respecting that. But these podcasts I know can go 1 and they could go 3, and it's great. So the reason why I brought baseball up, there's a whole signal stealing thing with like the Houston Astros.
Heard about it.
And I was attempting to steer that into volleyball, like how important does that happen and how often does that happen?
I mean, I don't know. So I've heard from older players telling me that they had strong suspicions about, and I'm sorry if I'm, this is just what I've heard. I have no idea. I've never seen it, but I've heard that certain countries, I guess maybe I won't name the countries, but have had coaches in the back, and then they'll do something depending on what the call was, because it would be so easy.
Yeah.
You just sit behind the other team, clap your hands if it's line, pump your fist if it's angle, and it's the easiest thing ever.
Or if they can see you, just go.
So there's been some games.
That's a 2 block.
There's been some games with Nick when he and I were playing together internationally in big games. He'd be like, "Hey man, like I feel like they're on to us somehow, like let's just talk about our calls." So we would just do that. So and I'm actually surprised they didn't do that in baseball, like how they couldn't. I can't believe that they like throw fingers still in like such a big sport like
garbage
that.
Cans. Guy hit a garbage can twice.
I know,
every time he pitched
it was super shady.
Yeah.
But how are they like it's
grimy.
almost like asking for people to steal their calls if they're just like boo, like and everyone's watching like.
Well, and I mean they do it anyway. Whoever's on second base.
Yeah.
They're probably going to clap their hands twice, show the batter or whatever. Third base coaches are trying to take a peek, but in the manner how the Astros did it, they did it on video. They videoed it, and then they transmitted. And this takes seconds to do because that makes it highly operational. Like it's systematic cheating because they give themselves just enough time to alert the batter before the pitch is thrown. Off a video camera. And there was a buzzer. Altuve hit a home run, and sometimes they rip at your jersey, and the whole time I saw him, they showed him on a replay in slow motion, "Don't touch my jersey, don't touch my jersey." And then when he was asked why, he's like, "Oh, my wife don't like people touching my jersey," and I'm just like,
I saw something about a tattoo, or he had a bad tattoo or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'll tune in once in a while on ESPN and see all this stuff. I don't know much about it, but it definitely seems super shady, and
it is shady because and it's upsetting because he's already good. The guy's like. 5 foot something, right? Doesn't really have a strike zone. You throw over the plate, he crouches. The ump calls high. So it's bad enough. The only way to throw a strike at him is you have to have to literally throw straight over the plate. And so in addition to having a small strike zone, being a high IQ player, he's getting signals too. Holy fucking shit!
Yeah.
So and the other reason why I asked is last year, like I've done some coaching for Rafu, and I'm listed as his coach. So I'm watching the game, and the ref's like, if you're his coach, you have to be in the box. But Rafu and Ed, I do not want to be in that box because when they're winning, it's fine, and when they're losing, they're spastic. And at the time, I didn't know Ed that well.
Or is it Rafu?
Rafu.
He's the fire. I can't imagine Ed like losing. Rafu, I'm a big Rafu fan, by the way.
No,
so
of course.
He's awesome.
He knows. We ain't casting any aspersions on Rafu. I knew Rafu before I moved here.
His serve, his arm is so gnarly. I used to play him in the Norsekas before he came to the AVP. Yeah. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, watch out.
And wasn't he one of the teams you had to beat to get to the finals when you won Hermosa last year? You got it?
We actually lost.
You just had it.
That was it.
You just had it.
We actually lost to them in the winner's bracket, and they sent us to the loser's bracket. I think it was a very close match, and they might have won. Maybe I don't know. I think they won in extra points, both sets that we lost, and sent us to the losers. Then they lost to Billy and Ryan, so we didn't see them in the final.
Right. Okay.
But they're good. But then we played them in that MBO, beat them to make the semi, and I was like limping around that whole game, and then I pulled out of the tournament.
Sorry. So look up 2018 MBO top 10 AVP. That's it. Because I have a whole bunch, and and right now she's found every single one, and I actually have it on my file. But yeah. So for me, the coach is like, you have to be in the box or whatever. So what I did every time he played, I just went to the players' tent. You know what I'm saying? They got a good TV there. They got the couch. And actually, honestly, once I got a team into the draw, once I got Jake and Earl in the draw, I didn't feel like that much of an imposter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's something to be said about people who are already coaching teams who are already in the draw. Good for you, John Mayer. Good for you, whomever, Rich Lamborn, hardworking guy. Good for you too. But when you punch your own ticket, you're not, again, you're not an imposter.
For sure.
So I feel like part of the family a little bit more. So yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to ask about signal stealing, because FIVB, there's no coach in the box anyway.
No,
right?
Yeah, they're in the stands every time.
Can't talk to them. So one way or another, they're going to videotape you anyway, and they're gonna and if anyone does their job like they should, there's mathematical patterns. Like I watch you on your signal calling, and I'll watch 2 matches, and I'll watch how you start. And I watch what you change, and I watch how many times you change it. And there's weird.
It is different based off who I play, though.
Yeah, sometimes it's psychology, but you'll be surprised how many players are mathematically doing it in a similar way.
Yeah. It matters a lot who you're playing, because certain guys on D and blocking, like, they're reactive. They'll change based off what you've just done, and then other guys are like proactive, so they're like, all right, they either just got me or didn't get me on this. I'm expecting this change to take place, so I'm gonna be ready. So like, I just bounced a bunch of angle on the ones. They're gonna. I saw them talk to each other. Now they're gonna run a 4, so I'm gonna see the 4 and bounce it.
There it is. Yeah.
And if you can preempt that, then it's huge. So
it is. It's
so yeah. Depending who I play, I don't think I'm probably am pretty patterned. I mean, like most blockers, you start with a bunch of 1s.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, I guess you probably could have reduced me down to some easy numbers.
No, shoot.
98% chance he blocks line.
Email questions too. I got email questions here. Signal stealing, blah blah blah. Who's the most intense partner you played with?
Most intense.
They can be intense where it's internal, or they could be intense where they're wound tight. I
played with, I guess, a lot of like guys that are wound tight. Nick was wound super tight, much more so before he started playing with Phil, with everybody he played with. John is intense. Todd Rogers was sneaky intense. Like, he appeared super calm all the time, but like when things went wrong, or if I messed up something real easy, explosion. So it's just like simmering in there.
That's not it. Keep going. Let it go. That's John Mayer. John. So, no, but you're right. So tell me one more time. It was Hayden, right? Most intense?
Honestly, it was several. It was Nick. Nick was for sure super intense.
You
Todd
won
Rogers,
with him
Hayden.
And you won him in 2013.
Yeah, in Huntington.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Reed was pretty damn intense too. So.
Yeah. Nice. Oh my God. Who is the best conditioned athlete you played with?
Oh, Nick, hands down.
Nick Lucena?
Just doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because he doesn't even like. You don't really see him on the bike, or like, he's just a freak of nature. Like, he works hard, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's running on the treadmill all day. But the guy can just go forever in any temperature and just keep jumping and swinging. It's pretty impressive.
Let's take a look at this for a sec. Let's see if we can pull it up.
Had a block party the last episode of the Top 10, and this one is hosted by Theo Brunner. Theo doesn't just get 1 block.
Your face, Troy, if you're still watching.
He doesn't just get 3
blocks.
He doesn't just get 4 blocks.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't just get 5 blocks. He doesn't just get 6 blocks. He doesn't just get 7 blocks.
This is the opposite of when I played him in New York this year. Just getting tooled every single time.
That was it. I had to put the top 10. And that comes with the sound, like on the playback.
Okay.
So for the people listening, they actually hear the music and me screaming my brains out. Not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, not just 4. Count it all the way up to 8. They could appreciate that. Partners you learn the most from, volleyball IQ wise. It's tough because if you I know people feel like if you pick one, you're not, you might be shunning the other, but we're being honest here.
No, yeah, I don't mind that. I would say Nick, and Hayden, probably Hayden the most.
Yeah.
He's just got such like a smart and simple way of playing the game. He's a pretty good communicator, and he more than anybody is like, all right, we have this issue as a team, so we're just gonna go fix this issue. Whereas the normal thing is like you talk about that issue, you sort of try to do it at practice, but then you want to win the drill. So,
who's your coach?
So, what's that?
Who's your coach?
Now?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Okay.
So, sorry, Mark Fishman's helping us out, but he lives in the East Coast, so he comes out every couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then LT a little bit also. So when we can get out with LT, we do.
I like that. Yeah. Well, you're looking for a video room breakdown guy. I'm your man. I did it for years. I did it for LMU for John Mayer, and a year later they won the WCC. So it's like for me, everywhere I go, I'm not trying to brag, but everywhere I go, everyone's gotten better. Yeah, I mean, I took on Jake and Earl. They try to qualify 7 times. Yeah. They've only done it once right now. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. So, John said his best condition partner was case beer, because he's like, just like what you said, as far as gas tanks are concerned, just from beginning to end. So I was just interested. That's why I asked you that. I was like, who's the guy from like bell to bell? Looks like 100, just 100, 100% out. Yeah, I was looking at the FIVB points rankings, and they look like they're. I'm not saying outside looking in, but with a few tournaments left, if they keep playing and Trevor keep playing, they're probably not going to make it, right?
Trevor and Try?
No, Theo. I mean, Nick and Phil.
Oh, no, I think they're ahead of Trevor and Try, essentially.
On points, they're not.
Not in points, but given that they didn't play that many tournaments, and that I think they're world champs in 5-star tournaments, which are like, I don't know, the swing tournaments are better. So even though it appears that they're behind, they're ahead.
Is that where USA Volleyball arbitrarily kind of does their thing?
No, it'll be just straight where you end up in the world. Because it'll be your best 12.
We just looked it up. They're like, it's Try and Trevor, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, but what did you look up? Total points for the 12 tournaments?
Yeah.
Because that would be, because I don't think Phil and Nick have 8, if I'm correct.
Okay.
Or they don't have 12, I mean.
Good, because we were just talking about this on Sports Every Tuesday, and I understand it's like the top 15 spots, and then there's
but it's very
continental championships, and there's tournaments that are automatic bids. Right, I think there's one left.
Yeah, but those don't. The USA doesn't honor those, so you can go like I could go win that, and it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't go. So I think I don't know. I think it's fine. They have that just for the world champs. If you win that, you'll go.
Yeah.
But yeah, those other tournaments, I don't know. That's a new addition. I haven't really thought about it much.
It's a little blurry, but
yeah, it's very close. I'd be surprised if it doesn't come down to the last 5-star.
I think it's going to. I think
because the 4-stars, it's hard to really like. Someone's gonna have to medal or win like a few 4-stars to make a big difference because the points are lower.
They are.
So if you end up with 5th and 9th, it's kind of a wash with everybody. But then you get a 5th and a 5-star, and all of a sudden it's like winning a 4-star, if not better.
Is there a huge point differential between winning and 5th?
Very big, and the world champs is an even bigger difference. Yeah. So that was huge for Trevor and Try. But then I think they had a couple tough. They got maybe a 25th in Stade, a 17th in Rome, and that could come back to haunt them in a big way. So
I think for Trevor and Try, we had this conversation earlier in the podcast about how styles make matchups. They've done really well in the international scene. Just their way of playing. Try being able to jump set, his options pretty good. Similar to some of the other European teams. Mull and Surm, you don't see them option at all. They just won't.
No. Yeah, not a lot. So, Mull will now and then. But they don't force it a ton.
No, they don't. Cause and I like that as a general rule. If that ain't something you see with your own 2 eyes, or at least in some kind of peripheral, you're not optioning. With power being the exception. That rewrites the rule, right? Good things happen when you hit the shit out of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, which I don't know much about.
No, good, because for me, I look at how the format's supposed to be, right? And I look at and and sometimes I make presumptions because I'm going by what the information I'm getting. So sometimes I just ask people who are in the middle of it and who talk to people. So eternally grateful for that one. Cool. So just looking down at email questions.
Yeah, I mean, all the international stuff is just confusing. So I think if you're not doing it all the time, it's like, what the hell is going on? It's like, who's where and what counts for what?
Chris Chips, good insight on the points. So crazy. Chris Chips is the owner of founder of CBD.
Okay.
And a New Yorker, longtime friend of mine.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and he actually hooked up.
Oh no, I saw him in Hawaii. Yeah. And I think he sent me a video of me and Derek Olson beating him in like 2009 or 2010.
Is it Coney Island?
My first tournament I qualified for. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Coney Island. That was Brooklyn.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cali Bear. There it is. Yep. Yeah, good guy though. I've known him for a long time. I got a cool story for him because since this is a podcast, this isn't like an interview. We're just talking. Central Park volleyball, right? There's 2 courts in the middle of Central Park. Thank you, John Stossel, wherever you are. Tore down the 1, built 2, $110,000. The guy from 2020, the journalist, guy. He's an active volleyball player. 63 years old.
Oh, no way.
Killer poker games on Friday night. And I think whoever Miles Evans stayed at this place last year. I mean, for AVP Manhattan. Sorry, AVP New York.
Yeah.
So I'm in college right now. I'm in Marymount, Manhattan, studying theater. So I have to put volleyball on the shelf. So my birthday comes, July 26th. And it's the week that people are trying to train for Coney Island. So a lot of people that don't want to make the trip to Long Beach, where you get the beach atmosphere, they just play there. So it's my birthday. And there's a whole bunch of people training in Central Park, and everybody's like, oh, there's kind of a wait, or we're using the court to train and this and that. And Chris is like, Chris comes up, are you training or are you playing? And they're like, we're playing. And he's like, Jason, play with me. And he said, just stay at the net and do your indoor thing. Because I'm 6'1", but my wingspan 6'8".
Yeah.
Ooh. So I'm a sneaky blocker.
Okay.
I'm a sneaky fucking blocker, So he just said, just stay up at the net. And I'm like, you like to play right side? He's like, you play right side. I'm good. I'm left-handed, so unless I'm comfortable, like you and me play for a year, I could play both sides. So play 2 sets, I get like 10 blocks. I get 10 blocks because he keeps head faking, and so when people try to reverse, they forget that this undersized guy can, has an extra 6 inches to swat your shit. So, and I have a lot of memories of the guy. I mean, he was a club promoter for a while, and we go out dancing and all that stuff. And and let me tell you something. There's nothing in the world watching a white guy dance. There's nothing in the world watching a white guy. Okay, he ain't got the moves. I mean, he's not someone you would consider a soul or this or that. But there's nothing in the world like watching a white guy just fucking tear it up because he's loving it and he means it. But the memory I got is he was like, come up and play. And we just 2 games. And he's like, you want to play? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I think I got an indoor game. I got a New York Urban game. I got to bounce. So, but to me it was disappointing because they've always used me to help them prepare for outdoor tournaments, and I always use them to help me prepare for the indoor season. Just there's no wind, you're in the sand. You come back indoor, you're just a more aggressive blocker.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good for all around skills.
You're not filling holes. It's not a scheme. You're just reaching over. You're just more aggressive. Your defense, your digging's better.
Oh, for sure.
You're taking, someone's trying to pass with their hands on a free ball. You're doing this with the forearms above their hands. So for me, I've always been with them. So I was a little disappointed. I'm like, oh, today, because y'all doing AVP, y'all don't know me, So Chris, wherever you are out there, he fixed that for me, and he remembers that. And the cool thing is, last year at Manhattan Beach, he won our first round with Bobby Jones.
Oh,
he beat
really?
Jelks and somebody else, and I'm like, it took an hour and 25 minutes to do it.
Marathon match.
Yes. You know why? Because he was taking these long breaks. He'd fall down, he'd stay down, right? Then when he got up, he'd get on one knee, and on one knee he'd stay there, and then he'd get up, he'd put a hand up. He dust off. And then when he's about to receive serve, he goes to the sideline, he throws up. He literally threw up. And I'm like, what did you do? You just sleep him to fucking death.
That's kind of that's like the Jeremy Casebeer method. Like he'll ace you and then just like spend like 30 seconds walking back to the line. You're like, come on, man. Like,
you could do side bends of sit-ups.
You're just like, you get all anxious.
Yeah.
It's like the people that when they're float serving, they drop the ball like they're about to toss it and then they just hold it there and you're like, what? All right, it's just you're just upsetting me right now. Like, why are you doing that? And it's good for like probably an ace a game. But then you get a lot of anger points.
I look at people like that, Theo, and you know what I tell them? And I'm gonna say this to the camera. Could you please hurry up and fucking serve before someone has an idea to change the rules because the game's not fast enough? You know what I'm saying?
FIVB, FIVB, 8 seconds. Boop, you gotta go.
Good.
Yeah.
Indoor. Do you know I was I coached NCAA for 12 years, but I'll bring you back to Baruch College. We're playing someone, I don't know, maybe Springfield, maybe Rutgers. Dude has this jump serve ritual. Bounces the ball a few times, holds the ball out in front of him like a D-hole, right?
And like a big grab.
I'm cursing, right? And he's holding it and he's out there. So you know what we did? I had my whole team a whisper count. So the ref blew the whistle. 1, 2, 3. And now the whole crowd is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then after the third one, the down ref tells the top ref to give my whole team a yellow card. So I'm like, if you've ever seen me coach, people used to come just to watch me. I'm a theater performer. And I'm like, so basically what you're saying is I'm getting a yellow card because you're not doing your fucking job. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're like red. I'm like, I'm getting fucked. I'm like, and I do this. I'm like, you see this? This is us. This is us. So it's one of those things where like the refs see me, they're like, oh God, it's this dude again. So in addition to just me being a workaholic, because this is what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I was theater performance. At the time I was coaching, I was also pursuing my BFA in acting. So, you know, I was at Hunter for a cup of coffee, like we said before the podcast. They had an NCAA team. I want to know what it felt like, but this theater program, I ranked number 2. I auditioned. I got in, and I'm like, all right. It's a good place to finish school. Let's do this, you know. Across the street from where I was working. Yeah. Cardiology practice. So. Okay. So shoot, since we only got an hour and we're 40 minutes in, and these questions are piling up. God, this feels like half interview, half podcast. This is the cool thing about having good volleyball players. All right, Jim McNamee. Question. Theo is often touted as one of the top blockers. How has blocking changed over the years, and what differences from other blockers who don't touch balls he does? Do you get that question?
Yeah, as far as how it's changing over the years, I like to think I was ahead of the time, but so now what they're teaching on USA, what people are doing at international, is a lot more deception. Right. And that, since I've stepped on the beach, that's been my only goal, which upset a lot of my partners at the beginning because they want someone who just goes straight over. Yeah. But I like to play games with people, so I like to make moves outside my body, show them something, take something, and then be able to play. I want people like being super unsure of what I'm doing at the net. So I think actually it's going more that way. Yeah. I think you even see like Phil's making those types of moves, Jake. Not that they're copying me, but that's just, and I think also the international tour, people are so athletic now that it's a little bit harder to get away with like line blocking the majority of the game than throwing in some angles because they'll just bounce it all game. So
they're also better. I shouldn't say this. I'll say it. They're better coached too. You know, they're elite athletes
it's much more serious. Yeah. I mean, they're training. They're not doing the standard U.S. things like 4 days a week. Yeah.
And I don't mean to use Mullenstorm as an example for everything because it's too extreme. They're a top
good
team.
Example.
But they're the number 1 team, and you got to pick other examples because
those guys almost never do any sort of basic defense. I mean, they're always reading and.
Well, they have the high school. They have their high school is a volleyball
they grew
academy.
Up playing. Yeah.
And Christian Sorum actually said his brother. He's got a brother coming up saying is better than him. Or was that Anders? I think it was Christian. Said his brothers, who's I think a senior in high school, if not already graduated. I talked to him 2 years ago. Said, "Come, watch out. You think I'm good? Watch out for this kid." So
as long as it's not Mole's brother. So,
no,
I don't want anyone better than that.
No,
player.
Hell no. So. How do you like playing with Hayden in Hawaii? They played well together. Anything, and we've already covered that. But the part 2 of the question, anything we would have done differently?
Yes. I'll tell you exactly what that is. I think we did a pretty good job talking throughout the whole tournament, adjusting our D when needed. What I have, the one like thing that I could have changed, other than like, you know, other teams making good plays, was we served Jake. We were on Jake in the final. Served him almost all the balls. Once we got to the freeze, I don't know how many serves we had, like 10 chances at match point. Served Jake every ball, and he just kind of, at the end of games, he's really, really good with his vision. He hits the ball really high. I was a little more gassed, so to block Jake well, you really need to get up big and be able to like at least touch that high line spatch thing he does. And I wasn't even close to it. And we should have gone a few at Taylor, like without question. So that was something like I had an inkling. I think I might have mentioned something to John, and we're like, nah, like we know what works on Jake and we can do it. But Jake played amazing. Yeah. And so the thing we could have done differently is throw Taylor some balls at the end there for sure. So because he was probably out of rhythm, we haven't been serving him much.
It's true.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
No, I mean, look, I didn't think you needed to change much as I thought you guys needed to just finish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're up 1-0. You're up 2015. I mean, maybe it was more about what they changed. Maybe they just survived long enough to stop, punch a hole in the gas tank.
Yeah.
You know, like if you ever watch MMA, like I was watching a match a few years ago, Conor McGregor against Chad Mendes. Who's one of these elite wrestlers, former D1 guys. And the whole time they're on their feet, he's kicking them right here in the gut. And every time he's kicking him, it's like he's wincing, he's stabbing the gas tank. Because he knew Chad took the fight 9 days notice. Chad walked around 163, the fight's 145, so it's not something you get a gradual weight cut from training.
Yeah.
It's like, man, they're gonna have to bring me in the gurney, So don't be you don't want to get worn out. Stop these fucking qualifier matches, dude. Yeah. Stop doing them extra days,
man.
I'm
out now. I'm out now. So.
All right, good. Because Baranek had the gas tank for that, for Manhattan Beach.
Oh, yeah. That was those matches were tough because we probably, I think we should have beaten Miles and Ryan. But there was just I hadn't played with John in forever, so I kept not giving him, he would dig a ball. Yeah. Our D was great. But I just wasn't. Reed wanted the high transition ball, so I was used to that. John wants you to just jam it in there. So there was a ton that I set him off the net. We had easy points.
Yep.
I think we had a chance to go up in the third set. So just so many missed opportunities. I think that's why we stuck together. We're like, hey, we just convert a few of these and we're playing well.
Out of all the matches they played, it was pretty cool that you guys went the third set. Everybody else they beat 2-0. I mean, there was their loss. There's Rafa and Ed, who I know that because I was filming and I was whatever. I ended up coaching against them 3 times, actually, twice in the qualifier. So Rob McLean and Aurora. We won the first set because I knew Baranek was twitching.
We lost in 2 to them. We lost in 3 to Ryan and Miles.
Right. Yeah.
But and we were on them good. They played great. They made a ton of good plays. That was the height of I was always just gassed last year because it was really hard for me I couldn't run or ride on the bike because my calf was always on the verge of just tearing. I had Achilles stuff because of the calf.
Yeah.
So I was just the whole time just breathing hard. Yeah. So I just wasn't in great shape. So I think finally by Hawaii I was acceptable. But that was everyone's plan. It was just serve Theo. He's gonna give out eventually. So, and everyone who did that in Hawaii, suck it. So
yeah, fine, exactly. Yeah. So.
Except Jake and Taylor at work.
No. Except Bill and Eric, who pretty much did
in
the
Manhattan
same thing
at work. In Manhattan at work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I went to coaching against him 3 times. Rob and Rob. We won the first set. So credit because I had a beat on Eric's twitch reaction. He does a twitch where he jumps left that allows him to absorb the hard driven, and his first step on the line over is just huge. His first step is big, which allows him to have immediate speed as opposed to building up speed. So he would face the hitter, and then on his twitch, instead of just twitching this way, he twitched slightly to the left, where he's there, and boom, everything he's playing right shoulder up. So the cut would have to be elegant. It would have to be a perfect play, or your line over would have to be just ridiculous, or split seam and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I thought he played really good defense, but I had a beat on him, and I told Rob, who's playing defense against him, and this is what Eric is doing on transition. This is what Eric is doing on side out, and they basically cancel each other out. On the third set, Bill was hitting shots. like short cross, and Diorora missed. Then Bill hit, and then Diorora missed. And when it's 15-13, when it's 15-11, those are the plays you think about when everyone, maybe not you're necessarily evenly matched, but you evenly match that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where
sure.
everybody's busting ass, and it does come down to these 3 points. And you, bro, you know what I'm talking about more than most.
Sure.
So, what was your first job as a kid?
First job?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He said, I didn't fucking work, Jay. First job.
No, it was
look at Miranda.
The local bagel shop. Because I totaled my car in like a 3 mile an hour, like stupid accident. I still blame the brakes, by the way, mom and dad. But busted my car because it was like a Chrysler Sebring I hit, and the like tail was like lifted a little bit for whatever reason on that car, so it just mangled the engine. And my parents were like, all right, so you're going to be paying this back. What kind of job do you want? I was like, oh, shoot. So local bagel shop. I went and worked there. I would work like 4 a.m. to noon, Saturday and Sunday.
Was that here?
In high school. No. In Ridgefield.
Okay.
In Ridgefield.
Well, well, you could sell some bagels there. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
So, I mean, that was it. And it was the worst. So it was like everyone was doing their party, hanging out. And I'd be like, man, I got to go like cut bagels at 4 a.m. So
trust me, I know.
But it was good. I mean, you mess something up, you gotta repair the damage. So
mine was ironwork. It's 14 years
Ironwork?
old. My dad, I'm the son of an ironworker, so he had his own side business called Mobile Weld, and I guess the extent of our quality time was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Sunday afternoons. They were hardcore church people, so it was one of them things where we tried not to work Sunday, but I don't know, we're liking that money too. But so I was I learned how to read blueprints. I would do all the cutting. He'd do the welding. I'd paint or whatever.
We were both cutting things.
Yeah, definitely.
Same level of coolness. Yeah.
But if you go to New York,
you ironed me bagels.
Like if you go to New York and if you go to 72nd Street from 5th Avenue all the way to the river, these little gates surrounding the trees. My dad and I did all.
Oh
those.
wow, that's awesome.
So
that's really cool.
Every time I go to New York, I'm like, I did that.
Yeah. There's nothing remaining from my bagel experience.
Have you ever been to jail or visited jail?
No, I don't think so.
No, cool.
No.
Miranda?
No.
Come on, how did that no sound?
I cover my tracks.
She's like, I'm not putting this camera on me anymore. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm just in a tech.
I mean, yourself?
3 times.
What?
I've been to jail 3 times, but not
Visiting.
No, actually 8 times. I was part of a prison ministry for Coney Island Gospel Assembly, where my mom made me sing choir because I have the gift. I could sing. Like, I don't know if you follow my karaoke thing. I don't have a go-to. I sing everything.
I mean, I will now.
But I didn't like being in a choir because they had me set up as an outsider. They just didn't. I was never one of them. So my father's like, let's get up early before church, and we'll do it. Only the men were allowed to do prison ministries, and they didn't have enough men. It was a church full of women. So I'm like, I'll go, and they're like, you're fucking 16. And I'm like, I'll go. So I go to Brooklyn House of Detention. I don't even know if it exists anymore. Rikers Island, and in the morning we would just talk about. If people want to talk about God, let's talk about God. Again, I was fire and brimstone, hardcore back then.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to talk about God, just let's talk about anything. So it's basically just one of those things like, I'm asking why you're here. Does this make sense why you're here? Why the fuck are you doing? Yeah. You're not trying to come down on anybody. You just want to talk. And anytime they can have time away from whatever their everyday routine is helped. Christmas, took the choir there, sang Christmas carols. So probably a total of 8 times, but in my mind, only 3 because the holidays were the time I felt like where I wanted to be. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, wanted to be somewhere else. Yeah. I'm sitting here singing Christmas songs to a guy that doesn't want to fucking be in jail. You think they're not going to want your company. It's but they did, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, nice. You got any family in the military?
I do not. No, so not a lot of military action in my family, other than. I think my great uncle had died in Monte Cassino in World War II, but other than that,
Marines then. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Monte Cassino's Navy. That was Navy and Marines. Your boyfriend said, "Nah, she's soft." You ain't going to jail. Nah, she's soft. Oh my God,
Don't lie
Miranda
to
has
these
not been
people.
to Greg Faulkner. Miranda has not been to Jael yet. Greg's an awesome human being. I think you might know him. He's like a tall African American guy. You see him on.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Mr. Smack.
I played against him in the 6-man a couple
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Let's just say Greg is the guy that everybody asks to play fours and nobody asks to play doubles. And I'm just
Okay.
like, honestly, he's gotten better. I'm like, dude, I'll even retire. I'll play at Huntington with you. I'd like to play behind a giant. He's a Cal Northridge kid, second team All American. Did you play college?
yeah, I played Santa Barbara.
That's right.
Yeah.
We talked on the last show I had about that. You played at Santa Barbara, and is that where you met Mansfield?
Yeah, he was. Let's see. I think he was a junior
Yeah.
when I was a redshirt freshman. So we played together 1 year, and then he ended up assistant coaching for a couple years after Todd left. So he was awesome. Just like very level-headed, even-keeled, and then he was my first beach partner for AVP qualifiers and such in like 2010. So
Yeah. Dude, I talked about the epitome of hard work earlier in this podcast. How could I dare talk about the epitome of hard work and not even mention Aaron Mansfield? The combination of being a talented coach and working hard at the same time.
Yeah.
He's one of the and I've gotten around. Look, I was in Barcelona for the Olympics. I was playing in Germany at the time. So I talked to the head coach from the Netherlands, Mario Trebic, who actually I was an outside hitter. He told me to set, so I became a setter since then. Ended up coaching his son, but that's at Hunter High School, but that's a whole other story. Mm-hmm. But Aaron Mansfield is one of the best 5 coaches, indoor coaches I've ever met in my life. And I'm talking to Hugh McCutcheon, like this elite group of coaches and how his mind works and the when and the what and what the hard work that made him become what he's become. I have so much respect for that guy.
Yeah.
I'm like John Mayer. I love John Mayer, but he's not even the best coach at LMU. The best coach is the guy who fucking beat BYU, the number 1 seed to get into the dance.
He's great. I'm always trying to get him out to the beach. He came out one time last year. I'm trying to get him out this week. But he's the best. He's one of those guys. Just like 10 minutes with him and his eye, he'll just be like, oh, like, try this, and you're like, oh my God. Like he basically like fixed my passing last year. I got in like this weird passing funk. I usually don't struggle that much, even though I think people think I do, but real comfortable passing. But I got in kind of a funk, and he's like, oh, you're just like, start moving before they serve, start reading before they serve. Like you're just like, you have your hands on it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I started doing that.
Yep.
I just fixed. So
sometimes we have that habit of moving with our hands together before we get there, and maybe that's what he's talking about.
It was more I was just static as the ball's being served. So then I start. So my read and like my first movement is like as the ball's being hit, as opposed to like you pretty much know based off how they toss it, where like what their arm looks like, where the ball's going. Even if you don't consciously know, your body knows. So just starting, so like, all right, either like I'm sliding forward, I'm sliding back, I'm sliding to the side because I know where it's going, and then it's just so much easier. So you're just in a better spot every time.
Okay.
So
your struggle was you wound up making like more than one move, like a second move because of that.
Yeah. I was just starting my read too late. Yeah.
I like
and it was
that.
like weird because you play long enough, like you think there's things that you never had an issue with, and then you play long enough, and all of a sudden you'll lose this one thing that you just took for granted, and you're like, shit, how do I get it back? Like, but it's a fun part of the game too. Like it'll happen with blocking. I'm like, man, like, what did I haven't changed anything like mentally, and then I'll have to watch like 8 hours of video and be like, oh, here's what I'm not doing now.
I played for the first time in months. Friends invited me Sunday morning, and they're and a more advanced level training group. And they were like, what's the difference between those tall guys and the tall guys in the AVP? Someone comes up to me, and I'm like, just the discipline. I'm like, that guy over there, he's got good hands, but did he square his shoulders to the pole? Does he need to square his shoulders to the pole? As far as margin for error is concerned, yes. Like, because if you're doing this and you miss, your margin for error is behind his head, or what I'm saying, like over the net. Just some things where they're using style points instead of keeping their discipline. Yeah. I have a friend, Ren Osborne, one of the best outside hitters I ever met in my life. He said the game looks more beautiful when you do it right. And
it looks easy.
And I learned, that's what I learned from Aaron. I picked up from Aaron. One, holding your platform at the end. That's that little foolish thing where you keep your arms out there and you feel like a dork, but that creates the hard wall, padded wall effect where, and you get what I'm saying. And the people, and the people listening, these are volleyball people listening to this episode of the podcast, so they get what I'm saying. And the second thing was facing the hitter, because sometimes some of the people I'm coaching, they're facing the hitter, then on their twitch, they wind up facing the net, and then it messes up their direction of pursuit. They're going one direction with a cut, or the whatever goes right by them, or they have to make a second move to come in.
Yeah.
And then their line over, they have to make a second move if it's a shorty, or they get jumbo fucked because their first move they're just going a completely different direction and you
jumbo fucked.
Yeah, and you like that one?
Yeah, I do.
So that's a cool thing about a podcast.
I'm gonna keep that one. I'll credit you every time.
I like
every time
it.
I use
Cool.
it.
Side is good. It put me up a little bit. Listen, this is why I'm glad to have you on the podcast. There's a lot of people where like, because I'm a performer and I'm a coach, nobody's putting anyone up today. Having you on my show, you putting me up right now, man.
Dude, I'm surprised anyone knows who I am that's on these. So.
Yeah. Well, again, the cool thing about this, a lot of these people don't even live here. They're not, I
figured all the questions would be like, who is Theo?
Yeah.
So good. I at least know 4 people know who I am. So
yep.
Sweet.
There's something to be said about being known in the bubble. This 5 zip code area where if you never left, you would think volleyball's the number 1 sport in the United States.
Yeah.
But there's also this big world, as you know, because you've been playing
FIVB.
FIVB.
Connecticut.
You've been playing FIVB. Yeah, you know more than anybody because you spent your bicoastal like that. You look at some of you're at adult nationals, and like if you look at the semis and finals, all of the teams are in New York or New Jersey.
Yeah.
Balmeso is not North Carolina. Okay, I set for that team. Balmeso, who won we won 2004 and 2005. It's an all Dominican dudes.
Yeah.
All right.
I played with Paul Mitchell a couple times.
Yes.
And we had a real
almost a scrap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I wasn't involved. I think that was like right after I mangled my shoulder.
Yeah.
So I wasn't playing as much that year. Mm-hmm. It must have been.
It was 06.
I think it was Kala.
Yep.
And maybe Matt Belk, who was on our bench, and they were chirping to each other. And Kala, who I played with in Italy, and we're buddies. I like him a lot. And, but he's someone you don't really want to mess with. And I believe
fired up.
Belk just keeps yelling all this crazy, and like Team Paul Mitchell were just drinking the whole time, and so everyone's like talking a bunch of crap to each other. And Kala's like, man, I grew up in Cuba. Like, this is fucking guy talking to me right now, and he took it personal. Yeah. And it was a really close match, I believe.
It's interesting,
must have
too.
went 3. Yeah.
And the only reason why I even remember Kala, I didn't go to nationals with him, but I set for, because Ulysses, the guy who runs the program, Yuli, we were college rivals. He played for New Paltz. He played for Tony Bonilla. So, and at that time, I played for Hunter. We beat you twice. Sorry. We weren't losing to anyone that was, local. We were proud. But, yeah, so I set for them, but I didn't go to nationals because they wanted me to pay my own way. Like then Batista, he gets a free ride. He didn't even, he wasn't even
Victor.
with. I mean, the whole time he wasn't even with the team. He was playing college at BYU. Yeah. So he, I'm sitting there, I'm not carrying him, but because you don't need to carry that team, you just need to like put both hands up and not beat yourself. Similar to Chris Austin with Irvine, Yeah, so I remember what's his name because he was Cuban.
Kala.
The whole team was Dominican. Yeah. Oz was with him for a little bit. He's Cuban too.
Okay.
But the whole team, Caballito, who was called Alejandro Flores. That's not his real name. I'm busting people out right now. It's not your real name. Frankie, who spent a lot of time on the West Coast. I don't even know his last name. So that was one of the funnest teams I ever set for. They only lost a set. They won 2 years in a row. They won in 2004, 2005. They only lost 1 set. They were ridiculous.
Yeah, when I played them, it was
like
maybe
just
2008.
Yeah, because that was when the little scrap
I went
happened.
2008, 2009, 2010.
Because that's when I heard.
Yeah, there was almost the fights. People like going in on each other. I think at one point, that same guy that was getting Kala angry tried to diffuse the situation, but at a bar later, and walked up to a group of the Bamiso players, and they were just like, "The fuck out of my face!"
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just getting away from this.
Come on, you're a bi-coastal dude. Like, some reason, this whole West Coast thing, like when they hit and staring you down, and when they shake hands, they staring you down.
I grew up in Connecticut, so I don't know much about any of that.
But listen, where
someone stares me down,
but where certain people are from.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to take that in. No, but where certain people are from, that staring people down, that means something different. Look, I'll just speak for myself. I'm not about that life. But where I grew up, if you stare at somebody like that means you're fighting. That just means you're fighting. So Kala played for Paul Mitchell, so I'm going to correct myself on that. Kala didn't play for Balmeso. And I was like, did Kala play for Paul Mitchell or Balmeso?
I swear that one year it was Balmeso. He never played on Paul Mitchell with me.
Okay. Greg Faulkner. He might be talking about. Okay, that's fragmented. My bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
cool.
but then someone in Connecticut, like maybe you'll stare someone down to be like the tougher of like
it's
a bunch
fun.
of non-tough kids, like. But yeah, you do that to someone who grew up in a different environment. It's a whole different story.
It means you fighting, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was coaching Evolution, Duncan Avery's kids, and the kid shook my hand like that. And I looked at him, and he kept looking at me. Then I looked at the coach to see if the coach saw it. The coach saw it.
Yeah.
I don't even know where his parents are, to see that. So no one did anything about it.
Yeah.
I went to their bench, and I said, come here for a second, huddle up.
Yeah.
The wrong team. They're like, you're coaching that team. What do you mean? And I said, listen, never make it about anything about who, except who won and you lost. If you won, shake my hand, be a man, and look me in my eye, that's cool. But that whole stare down thing, I'm telling you, when you go to nationals, there are teams that don't play that.
Yeah.
And, I actually, and the coach is like, oh, you stared at the person, this and that. I'm like, no, you're a coach. You should see that guy. You should reel that nonsense in. And I don't know what the parents are thinking, but if you were my son, you get drop kicked if you did that, in front of everybody watching. So sure. I'm not saying beat your kid's ass. I'm just saying show some respect.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Did you play, what position did you play?
Middle.
You played middle. Thankless fucking job, dude. No wonder you're playing.
Dude, it's the worst. And I switched, and I actually mangled my shoulder because I switched to outside. And then our first match of the year, I got like 60 swings. It was my senior year. We graduated a bunch of other really good players. So I was getting all the sets. Took an awkward swing, and it's like, it's basically never been the same since then. So I had one little moment in the sun and then just right back to the middle. So middle is hard.
It is thankless.
Very, very hard to be a good middle blocker. But when I see a good one in terms of blocking, because everyone can hit, it's pretty easy. But when I see a good blocker, I think it's really hard, and it's one of those things that it's almost not a lot of coaches can coach it because so few people are really good at it. So like, there's so many things that are like, I'm like, wow, like I could change that.
That's
this guy.
My first indoor job. I was a blocking coach. So,
okay.
Because I played in Germany, and at that time, if you didn't stop people at the net or slow them down at the net, you weren't digging. You weren't digging anything. Nobody's
with a fast offense.
Nobody's twitch reaction was fast enough. So I totally agree with that in the sense that at Hunter, again, small D3 school, so all of us are 6'2", 6'3" across the board. Someone has to block middle. Yeah. So we just had to show discipline and touch it up. Chase down the dig, set our star hitter on the outside, blocked, cover, set, block, cover, set, use, So it was, and back then it was side out too, so that was death of 1,000 cuts. Talk about stabbing your gas tank, bro. So, oh my God, we're past.
Oh, it's fine.
All right, cool.
I'm good actually. So
we did a good job.
I ended up, I was supposed to go into the gym, get some work done. I went in with my daughter this morning, and Mike, the head athletic trainer with USA Volleyball, was in there, so I actually got to get it done. So now the only thing I've at 2, I have to go do a little serve and pass. So I can stay for another 15. So
that's cool. Yeah. Well, maybe
or not if you.
Nah, we use this. I got a little 3-year-old who might want to smile at you. Come say hi to her upstairs. I got the nanny from heaven. I got a girl who was a longtime actor player. She went to Harvard. So I'm in a good situation right now. For me, again, I'm not going to talk about me because this episode's about you, but me steering the right way and not getting caught up in the validation game was my most difficult challenge when I moved here, because you get passed up and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck you. I coached here. I did this. I did that. Yeah. And next thing you know, you start talking like people you despise. You become what you despise.
For sure.
So my first year was challenging like that. And in fact, I told Kelly, I'm like, because she thought this whole California thing was a good idea, and you've gone back and forth. You can relate. Yeah. I'm like, I told her, I said, if you want to kill me, take me back to Brooklyn and kill me. All right, put me under the Verrazano, put 2 on my head, let me die like a man, okay, like a real man. Don't let me die in the sand like a snake, So, but I got through that. I made really good. I got a good circulation of friends. But if you look at Greg over here, still posting. Greg is not just a friend; he's a brother from
respect for middles.
Yeah,
right back at you, Greg.
Yep, definitely. Yes, see, international man of mystery, United Nations citizen of the world. Just this 6 degrees of separation. Everyone knows each other through him. So I made close friends with him. We sing twice a week karaoke. Tower,
awesome.
Tower
Okay.
12 on Thursday.
Okay.
Hennessy's on Monday. So when your escapism becomes your career, and you need an outlet where you're not right, because if your escapism, what you love to do, and you love to do this, when it becomes your career, when it's low, you feel fucked up, and you need an escapism. So mine is performing.
Okay.
Since I'm not doing shows, I'm not doing theater anymore. I did shows for like 5 years after I graduated on and off Broadway, but so that's our whatever. So Greg's a good friend. Rob McLean, who I keep talking about, he's on. If you watch the split screen on YouTube or Facebook, he's the guy on the other screen with Sports Debate Tuesday.
Okay.
You should train with. He's 25 years old. This kid's coming up. You should train with him. He trained with Ali San. When Alisson came up from Brazil a little bit, and he's just one of these guys flying into the radar. Rob, I call him Rob. Keep him McLean. All right.
He's a defender.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of these guys that was a hybrid, and because of who he was training with, he's had to block some.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Yeah.
In our heart of hearts, that's not who and what he is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck. You know, I like to see you play some back row. I'm sure you can long arm some stuff, right? Right?
I could get it done back there. I can get it done because all I have to do is fall over.
One step, right?
And
One
then,
step in a reach.
Yeah.
What's your wingspan?
It's still just reading. Like it's not like I'm gonna stand there and wait for a line and run after it like a newbie.
Stafford Slick. Stafford Slick, what's up? Keep grinding. Good stuff, boys. Thank you so much.
What's up, Stafford?
Yeah, man. Cool.
Stafford's just loving this.
Yeah. Stafford's got to come on. I'm a hoodwink him to coming on the show.
Me and Stafford, we played some no jump yesterday, my third training. Me and Ryan Doherty against him and John Mesco. He won the match. It's me and Ryan. Come on.
Yeah.
First set though, me and Ryan won 21-9, I think. Stafford. So.
Dude, let me ask you: the way you guys play,
won the match.
The way you guys play the standing, though, I have a question. Since everyone you just mentioned has reach, do you go to the net and just stand and block?
No, it's still pretty hard to put the ball away unless you're Ryan. Like Ryan straight up just hammers. He's hammering like sharp cross, like deep middle, just thumping. It's all like he's thumping it at your face and you're hand digging. And then the rest of us were just like cut shots and like stuff like that. But I love the standing game. I mean, Stafford have been playing. It's like the perfect form of conditioning. It's low impact on your joints. Yeah. It's very volleyball-like. You work on your touch. So I'm like a huge fan
work on your
game.
balance too. In this game where like
it's just all ball control.
It is. Right, and those whether it's windy or whatever, there are X amount of things that you're always gonna control more than Mother Nature and more than the other team. I'm not talking about. I mean, from a simplistic level, serve 100% in system setting, right? Some gives you a perfect pass, the other team can't make you set poorly. But the standing one is really about free ball, down ball control, and just being accurate, transitionable digs, blah blah blah. You've heard this 100 times.
And then being decisive on your shots too, because you can it's so easy to defend any sort of average shot. But, so you really have to go for it, which I like. So I
love it too. I love watching it, and I loved having you on the podcast, my dude.
Thanks, Jason.
This has been shake my hand.
It's been awesome.
This has been great, and again, got to give the people what I want. They've been asking about you, and thought I'd reach out. And Theo Brunner, thank you for making this happen. For Theo Brunner, the big blocker. For Miranda Gagne, our hostess with the mostest. Ben, where's she at? For everybody at home, for everybody on their iPad, on Starbucks, from everyone on their iPhones, I'm Jason DeBiz, and I say, so long. Love you guys. That's it.